He had never heard a single note of the beautiful, complex music he created. His world was one of pure, profound silence. But a bolt of lightning from a stormy sky, a force of nature that should have killed him, became a divine instrument, delivering a shocking miracle that allowed him to finally hear his own songs. This is the incredible true story of how God can use the most powerful and dangerous forces in the universe to bring about the most delicate and beautiful healings, proving that miracles can arrive in a flash of light and a clap of thunder. Liam was a composer, a prodigy, but his genius was born and lived in a world without sound. He had been deaf since birth. He didn't create music by hearing it. He created it by feeling it. He would press his hands against the piano, feeling the vibrations of the notes in his bones, in his chest, in his very soul. He saw music as colors, as shapes, as mathematical patterns. He wrote symphonies in his mind, beautiful, intricate worlds of harmony that only he could see. The stakes of his life were a constant battle to connect with a world from which he was fundamentally isolated. He longed to share the beauty he felt, but he could never truly know if the sounds he imagined were being translated correctly. He was a master of a language he could not speak. Imagine his world, the complete absence of sound, not quiet, but a thick, heavy blanket of absolute silence. To compose, he lived in a world of pure physical sensation, the smooth, cool feel of the ivory keys under his fingers, the deep, resonant thrum of the bass notes vibrating up through the floorboards and into his body, the delicate, high-frequency tingle of the treble notes in his fingertips. His connection to music was more physical, more intimate than that of any hearing person. It was a raw, unfiltered communion with the physics of sound. This is a profound lesson in itself. Sometimes, what we perceive as our greatest limitation is actually the source of our unique genius. Liam's deafness forced him to experience music on a deeper, more elemental level. It was the source of his unique, otherworldly compositions. His perceived lack was, in fact, his superpower. But he still yearned to hear. His deepest prayer, the one he held in the silent sanctuary of his heart, was to hear his own music just once. One stormy afternoon, Liam was at his piano, lost in his world of vibration and color. A violent thunderstorm was raging outside. The sky was a dark, bruised purple, and the rain was lashing against the windows. He was working on a particularly intense piece of music, his hands flying across the keys, his body swaying with the silent rhythm. As he played, a massive bolt of lightning struck a transformer just outside his house. There was a brilliant, blinding flash of white light, and a massive power surge coursed through the building. The lights exploded. The electronics in the room fried with a sizzle and a pop. Liam was thrown from the piano bench, the electrical charge passing through him. The last thing he felt was an all-encompassing, vibrating hum, as if the entire universe had become a single, deafening chord. He lay on the floor, stunned, his body tingling, the smell of ozone thick in the air. The silence he had known his entire life was still there. But then, something new began to push through it. It started as a faint, high-pitched ringing. And then, he heard the rain. For the first time in his life, he heard the gentle patter of raindrops against the window pane. It was the most beautiful, the most miraculous sound he had ever known. He sat up, his mind reeling. He could hear the distant rumble of thunder. He could hear the frantic beating of his own heart. The silence had been broken. The blanket had been lifted. He could hear. The medical explanation for this is a phenomenon known as electroporation. In rare cases, a massive electrical jolt can create tiny, temporary pores in the cells of the cochlea, the part of the inner ear responsible for hearing. This can, in some instances, reboot the auditory system. But to Liam, This was not science. This was the hand of God. It was a direct, powerful, and terrifying answer to his deepest prayer. Slowly, he crawled back to the piano. With a trembling finger, he pressed a single key, middle C. The note rang out, a clear, perfect, resonant tone. It was more beautiful than he had ever imagined. He had felt it in his bones 1,000 times, but he had never truly heard it. Tears streamed down his face as he played a simple scale, each note a revelation, a gift from the heavens. He began to play one of his own compositions, and for the first time, he wept not for what he couldn't have, but for the overwhelming beauty of what he had been given. He was finally hearing the song of his own soul. God's miracles do not always arrive gently. Sometimes they come in the storm. Sometimes the healing requires a shock to the system, a force powerful enough to shatter the old reality and create a new one. The lightning bolt was not a random act of nature. It was a divine intervention of perfect and terrifying precision. It was the answer to a prayer, delivered in the language of cosmic power. Liam's story reminds us that our limitations are not always what they seem. They can be the very things that shape our unique gifts. But it also reminds us that we serve a God who can shatter those limitations in an instant. He is a God of storms and of silence, of lightning bolts and of whispers. No prayer goes unheard, and no situation is beyond his power to transform. He can break through the deepest silence and make the deafest ears hear the beautiful music of his grace. If you are waiting for a miracle, do not be afraid of the storm. It may just be the sound of your answer arriving. If you believe in a God who performs miracles, consider subscribing for more incredible true stories.